guys, what's up? It's Jana and Mike, and you're watching another Have a Seat with
Jana and Mike.
Woohoo! So you guys emailed us at haveaseatwithjanaandmike@gmail.com, and we picked out some of our favorite questions. You guys all had great questions, but we could only get through so many. So here are the ones that we selected. Hey Jana and Mike, my name is Katie and I'm 16. I love listening to your podcast. What is both of your advice on dating in high school? I know a lot of people do it, but you're not going to get married in high school. Wondering your opinion on the subject. I kind of have like two sides of this. You know, I had my high school sweetheart who I loved, and obviously we didn't end up getting married, but I think I still think that was like a relationship that I loved having, but at the same time I wish I would have had more fun. Like I wish I would have done more things, not worried so much or cried and worried about Matthew, or like I just would have enjoyed my time with my friends. And so I don't know, I mean, it's not to say that you won't marry the person that you meet in high school, but I feel like you change a lot from high school even after college. So I mean, if you find someone that you really like and that it's so hard because I mean, like some people do marry their high school sweethearts. It's so hard because it's like.
Would you like me to chime in?
Yeah.
Okay, so most don't marry their high school sweetheart. So my advice.
But some do.
But some do, but most don't. So my advice for dating in high school would just be honest, and if you like somebody, date them. When you stop liking them, break up with them. It's not the end of the world. I know in high school we've all been there. I've cried over my high school relationship.
Oh yeah, when Matthew and I broke up, it was the end of the world.
This is a good one. Have your marital struggles affected Jolie, if at all? Of course you wouldn't share details, but was she old enough to feel the separation when it was happening? I follow you on Instagram, and obviously Jolie's the center of your world, so I don't mean this in a negative way. Just curious how y'all been able to handle getting your relationship where it needs to be while still being amazing parents. Can't wait to listen. Thank you. Really good question. I mean, I'm sure, did Jolie feel some of the emotion and feelings in the air? I'm sure she did, because even at a young age, we're still human beings, and they probably feel that presence. I think they feel it at a much earlier age than people give credit to little kids. But that is one of the things that Jana and I have said once we really started working at this, was thank goodness that Jolie was at such a young age, that she truly now, with building memories and being more cognizant of what is going on in the environment around her, that we've really been able to be unified. And it's been important to us that we don't portray that, out in the open in front of Jolie.
Even when we were going through our stuff, Jolie was really young. She was about five or so months. I feel like kids are so much smarter than we, like, I knew she could feel my pain and my tears and stuff. So, yeah. I mean, will she remember it? I don't hope not, but I definitely think they can sense your energy. They can sense things, especially when our voices get raised in the house. We try to make sure that we either table it or bring it into the other room, because you see fear in their eyes, and I don't want to ever see that at all. Hey, this is Tyler from Arkansas. I'm a big fan of the first Have a Seat. Question: if you guys could spend a day with anyone, who would it be and why? P.S. You guys rock.
If I could spend a day with anyone, it would be my mom's father, my grandpa Jack.
Sentimental.
I did go sentimental.
Shoot, now I have to.
It would be my mom's father. I never met him. He died when my mom was 16. And I've just heard amazing stories about him. Heard that we would have gotten along great, and we were a lot alike. So that's just someone I've always looked back and wish I could have spent time with. Right?
What's your a non-sentimental? Because now I have to do sentimental and then.
If I could spend a day with anyone that's non-sentimental?
Yeah.
All right, non-sentimental.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
I don't know if a lot of you remember when the show Fantasy Factory was on MTV with Rob Dyrdek, but I remember watching that show, and I always thought Rob just seemed like the most fun, that we'd have a blast together. He's just that kind of guy that in any situation he'll have a good time.
That's your one if you go spend a day with someone.
Yeah,
I don't know who that is.
It doesn't matter. I do. I just feel like I'd have the most fun ever with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
My sentimental one would be my grandpa, because my dad's dad, passed away when I was 14 years old, like 13, 14. So I felt like, I told him the other day, I said one of my biggest regrets is that, in that age I was hanging out with my girlfriends and I wasn't, I didn't visit him as much as I should have in the hospital, and I regret that so much to this day. So I would want to go back and just spend the entire day with him. And my non-sentimental would be Kris Jenner.
We stayed together after my husband's affair, but I'm scared that he might still want the other women. Do you ever feel like that? What do you do to cope?
What I will say to this is, if he's still with you, he wants, and he's trying, then he really truly does want to be with you. He's giving, like, if he's doing the things and he's working and fighting for the relationship, then he is choosing you every day.
Yep. More than his words, focus on his actions.
Yeah. Hey Jana and Mike, I've been through thick and thin when it comes to relationships. So because of past relationships, I tend to bring it into my current relationship. Every time my boyfriend goes out, I accuse him of cheating. Every time he looks at his phone, I think it's a girl. I just can't shake it. I don't know if I'm just scared to be hurt or need the reassurance. As far as I know, he has always been faithful to me. This is really starting to push him away, as he feels he is constantly being accused of being something and someone who he is not. How do I fix this fatal flaw? Well, first of all, don't look at it as like a fatal flaw. You were hurt, but at the same time, that man you are with right now did not hurt you. So you have to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's being good to you. And I know it's hard when you've been hurt, but at the same time, as to your knowledge, he's not doing anything wrong. So you have to just give him the benefit of the doubt, and because at the end of the day, you're right, you will drive him away.
That is not a fatal flaw. That is trauma that you have been put through. That is not your fault. So, and that being said, yeah, it's unfair to hold it against him. But if anything, verbalize those fears to him. This way, you're not coming off as accusatory. Just tell him, be like, look, I'm sorry. This might sound crazy, but because of my past relationships, I just have anxiety around when you go out or whatever. I make up that he will console you and be like, I'm really sorry that you feel that way, or hopefully he will, and not get upset or defensive about it, and just be like, I can understand why you feel that way, and you have nothing to worry about with me. And when he says that, he hasn't given you any reason to not believe that, so you have to take that word. Please talk about sex after baby. I had a C-section. I feel like my husband saw so much of me. How is there any way he can still find that sexy? Not to mention I feel huge, even a year after, since my body is nowhere where it was pre-baby. Help.
Give yourself some grace, number one. Number two, my husband saw me too, so I'm going to let him answer this one.
So in this situation, everybody reacts different. For me, it was actually the opposite, where seeing Jana go through that, I had so much more of a greater appreciation for her and what her body's gone through, that I found it attractive, honestly, that she had done this and birthed this beautiful child.
But I didn't birth it, it got cut out of me.
You still grew
and it
babies.
had organs that you saw.
Yeah,
with
I saw your insides, but for me, I didn't. It's two different things. I was focusing on the baby. I wasn't really putting two and two together that was you and your body, and it's hard to explain. But I mean, ask him. I know it's probably uncomfortable because your fear is maybe an answer that he might give you, but ask him how he feels about it. Ask him if it affected him, because whether it did or it didn't, you give him a chance to express that to you. I feel like if you address this tension in the room, because that's what you think it might be, it could be something that has nothing to do with that at all. And he might even make you feel better about yourself. So again, just the communication, and just ask him point blank.
Hey guys, first off, I want to say I love your vlog and your podcast. I love how open, honest, and raw you are with your listeners about your struggles and your fight to work on your marriage. It's so refreshing. My question is, do you ever worry because of how public your lives are, what kind of things Jolie and baby boy will see, read about you and your marriage struggles? Have you thought about how you'd explain it to them someday? I feel like because it's already so out in the open, unfortunately, that we kind of had to just take it and make it our own narrative and take it into our own hands, besides having speculation, because that's the worst part about things, especially being in the public eye, is when people just speculate and they don't know. So now we're able to kind of take over the narrative and be like, yep, this happened and this is how we're working on it, and this is how we want to continue to work on it and help people and continue to grow. So when they do see it, because they will, because the internet is not going to die anytime soon, and they bring it up to us, I would just want to be very honest and be like, yeah, we went through some struggles, but look at us hopefully now and how strong we are and how, if you fight for something, this could work out. Okay, here's a fun question. I know I'm guilty of this even though it's super silly. Have you ever woken up from a dream mad at each other? And what was one specific time you remember? All the time, always mad at them. Stop yawning.
All the time.
Yeah, I'm always just like, you were in a dream, or you were in my dream and you were being such an a-hole, and I wake up mad at him. So yeah, it happens.
Thank you for talking openly about infidelity. By doing so, you give me hope that my marriage might survive. About 2 weeks ago, I found out that my husband has been talking to and meeting up with a lot of women for quite a while. We have a 9-week-old baby. Things have been extremely difficult, and hearing how you and Mike have gotten through it, and even though it's a lot of work, you make it seem worth it. I don't want to tear our family apart, but I'm not sure where to even start with fixing my marriage. How do you go about rebuilding the trust that was lost?
First of all, I'm so sorry. That's incredibly hard, especially with a newborn baby, having those feelings, having all your hormones on top of just having a baby, and then those feelings of infidelity. I commend you for trying to want to make the marriage work. I think that's awesome, and to fight for it, but you also got to see if your husband's willing to fight for it too. So in my opinion, I would have you guys sit down with a therapist and talk about it and see if he's willing to stop what he's doing and really work on himself.
Obviously, both of us can empathize with that. So the first step is definitely you have to figure out if he's in it, if he wants to move forward, if he wants to make it work. He might say that right now from just a panic rescuing
You did that.
state of mind. Yeah, absolutely. But that doesn't solve any problem. So don't just go from his word, because you can't fully trust that, clearly. So even if he's saying that right now, then require that you guys go to couples therapy and you start working with somebody to figure this out, to put boundaries up, to create safety for you and your child, to whatever it is that you need to feel safe in moving forward. It's not about his needs right now. It's about yours. His will come later, and that's something that I had a hard time dealing with early on. Okay? But that's his job to sacrifice his needs right now to make you feel safe and earn his needs back, honestly. So that's the first step. Again, we're sorry that it's so fresh and so new. We hope it works out in however way that you want it to work out.
Hopefully he's willing, because if you're willing, that's amazing.
Yes.
So amazing. So if he's willing, then you guys can do it.
Yep, it's possible. Dear Jana and Mike, how would you suggest handling a long distance relationship? I've always been a little obsessed with the idea of love and all that. I feel like I might have finally found that, but he lives 4 hours away. It's not the distance that bothers me, but it's that we're so busy and it's hard to squeeze in time together. I'm just looking for some advice on how to handle the loneliness when we aren't together and how we can make it work. I listen to the podcast every Monday on my way to work, and I look up to you. No, this is a good one actually, and I have very close friends from college. Actually, one of my college roommates, him and his now wife, were long distance for the first couple years.
Years?
Yeah, out of college. They lived a couple states apart. It was probably a 5-6 hour drive to get to each other, but they made it work because they wanted to. And they both would sacrifice traveling to each other, whether it was driving, taking the train, flying on occasion. I understand that gets expensive, but they made it work. So if you feel like you found love and he feels the same way, it's definitely possible.
But now they're married and happily ever after.
Now they're married and super happy, and it was worth it for them.
If it's meant to be, you guys will make it work. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching our series, Have a Seat with Jana and Mike, and we're excited to sit down with you again next week.
See you guys.